congratulate the honourable member for Carmarthen, West and South Pembrokeshire for securing this debate. I think the presence of so many honourable members here today shows in part why this project is of such importance. I rise today in order to urge the government to give this vitally important project the go-ahead, and soon. I believe that the Tidal Lagoon should be approved for the following reasons. First, because it offers Wales and the Swansea Bay region in particular an unrivalled opportunity to place itself at the forefront of what this year's World Economic Forum in Davos called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. An industrial revolution that will be characterised by new forms of renewable energy and by the exponential outward expansion of technological innovation. We can be at the vanguard of this revolution, and the Swansea Bay Tidal Lagoon could be a catalyst for it. To have the first project of this type in Wales, and not only that, Mr Chair, in my constituency of Aberavon and that of my honourable friend from Swansea East, I hasten to add, would be a source of tremendous national and local pride. The project will also provide a significant alternative to carbon-intensive industry. This is a chance to harness the natural environment, the unique nature of Swansea Bay, to our advantage. It's an opportunity to use the environment to protect the environment, power the local community, local homes, and also to save money. Because yes, secondly, the Tidal Lagoon will in the long run not only help to tackle climate change, it will also help to save money. The lagoon requires a strike price of £96 per megawatt hour. That is 16% below the cost of any offshore wind farm ever granted a contract. And with a predicted crossover point, meaning that I will give way.
I'm grateful for the honourable member giving way. I'm very interested in that strike price. Can you explain what period that is over? Because my understanding is that's a period over 90 years rather than the 35 years that would apply, for example, in a wind farm contract.
The honourable lady is correct. My argument would still be that, that strike price, as it is as a unit price, is a very attractive price, and particularly when you then consider the economies of scale that would come from the construction of further tidal lagoons, you see a downward trend in that strike price, which I think is a very convincing economic argument. You will, at the same time, I'm going to, in a very biased way, give...
I thank my honourable friend for giving way. And I do understand that the government wants to get the financial details right and wants to get the best value of money for the taxpayer and the bill payer. But on the basis of such unanimous cross-party support throughout Wales, at an assembly level, at a ministerial level, at an MP level, right across society as well, no dissenting voices, shouldn't it be the case that at the end of this consultation we have the deal on the table and we go ahead?
I would agree entirely with my honourable friend and agree also with the honourable member for Gower in saying that this is about a cross-party consensus. There seems to be a rare outbreak of unanimity. Let's take that opportunity and move forward. I will now give way to my honourable.
I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman for giving way. He's losing time because of this, so he's very kind. Just to put some context on that, the strike price for nuclear will be 35 years, but we have to remember nuclear has been on the go for 60 years in the UK. So 60 years after it first came along, it's still getting support for a further 35 years, 95 years in total. And the strike price, I think, being talked about for the barrier is only 90 years. Now, I don't want to get into the debate of tidal versus nuclear, but I think that is interesting just for context and background. Yeah,
I would agree with the honourable member and would add as well that we've seen a disastrous overrun in terms of cost and timing in Flamanville, in Finland, and so let's give Tidal Lagoon a chance, because in the long run it looks like a very good investment. So I think what the argument here is that over the project's lifespan it will deliver cheaper than wholesale electricity. The combination of the Swansea and Cardiff Tidal Lagoon projects, the first two of their kind in the world, would, over the course of their lifetimes, be the cheapest form of electrical generation on the UK grid. Third, the project will create thousands of highly skilled, well-paid jobs locally, supporting hundreds of local businesses. Indeed, it's already having a positive impact in the local area, as my honourable friend from Swansea East mentioned, giving rise to plans for many small businesses in the City Bay region and feeding into the strategy for the Swansea Bay City deal. This is exactly the kind of project that we must go ahead if we are to see the rebalancing of the economy that this government is so keen to talk about, but apparently not always so keen to act upon. Well, here is the chance. Approve the Tidal Lagoon and create jobs, support small businesses in the area, help rebalance the economy and produce green energy. Finally, as honourable and right honourable members will be aware, the Welsh steel industry is going through testing times. And nowhere is that more acutely felt than in my constituency, where we're recovering from the devastating news 2 months ago of 750 job losses at the Tata Steelworks in Port Talbot. And with the Swansea Bay Tidal Lagoon, there is a real opportunity to support not only the local community, but also local steel industry. The turbines and generator package are worth around £300 million, and Tidal Lagoon Power have committed to sourcing all the major components from the UK. The company have detailed plans in place for a turbine manufacturing plant in Swansea Docks, heavy fabrication in Pembroke, and the generators to be manufactured in Newport and Rugby. This is all welcome, but I want to see the government go further when approving the project, showing real leadership by committing to help source all or as much of the steel for the turbines from the British steel industry. Not only would this help create jobs across the Swansea Bay area, helping some of those highly trained and skilled men and women who were made redundant at Port Talbot in January, it would also help support local jobs at the Port Talbot Steelworks, supporting local jobs and Welsh steel. I will give way.
And I thank my honourable friend for giving way so close to the closure of his remarks. But can I reiterate to my honourable friends that we in Newport also very much urge the government to get on with the Swansea Bay Lagoon, and we can also see the benefits further down the line in terms of procurement. My honourable friend mentioned the steel industry, but also that investment, construction and those long-term jobs.
I thank my honourable friend, and we are standing shoulder to shoulder on this issue. A positive decision on the lagoon would put a much-needed tick in the government's green credentials and deliver a massive boost to the local economy and steel industry. This project needs and deserves rapid advance. The government needs to get off the fence, and fast, because each day of delay is costing months or years of progress. The recently announced review cannot be another airport-style case of kicking things into the long grass. While welcoming the review of the chief executive of Tidal Lagoon Power, Mark Shorrock, also made clear, and I quote him directly, "A welcome review should not be a substitute for action." He made clear that unless work starts on the lagoon now, unless structuring and commercial negotiations are concluded in the next 6 weeks, then the opportunity will be lost and the review will be all for nothing. That was almost a month ago to the day. That gives the government just 2 weeks if this project is to go ahead on schedule. The clock is ticking. If this government wants to know what the time is, well, it's time to act now. Thank you, Mr. Chair.